Hi everyone and welcome to TeachTechPlay. This is episode 6 and I'd like to welcome you all tonight. This will be our final show for the year and I'm excited to be here with some fantastic presenters. Now before we get started with tonight's show, I'd like to congratulate our Play King for episode 6, which was Jay Atwood, and he presented on creating workflows with GAIF, and I know it was a great little session that he presented on, and I took that lesson back to my school and the kids absolutely loved it. So that's the whole point of tonight's show, that we can get an idea of someone else and be able to implement it into our own classrooms. Now unfortunately tonight my co-host Michael is actually absent as he has got baby duties tonight. So tonight I've actually got Anthony here to help me out, and Anthony is an educator who I only met about a year ago, and in that year we've created a great friendship where both our students at our schools are working together using Google Docs. So Anthony, are you there?
Yes, thanks Eleni, great to be here.
Now we haven't got your visual, we've only got your audio, just so you know.
Okay, is the camera on? The camera should be on for you guys.
Can anyone else see Anthony, or is it just me not being able to see him? No, we just got your picture.
Okay. Let me see if I can...
That's okay. Did you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm the senior leading teacher and ICT leader at a primary school in the southeast suburbs of Melbourne. And yeah, spend a lot of my time working with kids, working with teachers, getting them going with all things Google and technology and things like that.
Beautiful. Thanks, Anthony. Now, we've got some fantastic presenters from around the world here today, and we've got local people as well, including Jenny Luca, who does some fantastic work here in Melbourne. We've got Andy Vasily, who we were going to have on our PE edition 4.5, but you got caught up with other commitments, so we're glad that you could join us on today's show. And we've also got Molly Schroeder here from the US. So if I throw over first to Jenny, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jenny Luca. I'm the Director of ICT and e-learning at Toorak College in Mount Eliza in Melbourne. We're a GAIF school as from this year, so we've had a really fun year pushing GAIF through the school along with a para-teacher dashboard. So it's been a busy year for us, but a good one.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jenny. Now what I'll do is I'll get Andy, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Andy Vasily. I've been teaching internationally since I guess left Canada in 1997, and worked in Japan for 10 years, and then moved over to Eastern Europe for a couple of years, and then on to Cambodia for 2 years, and this is my 4th year in Nanjing, China, and I've been teaching PE pretty much the whole time.
Fantastic, Andy, and I know you've been doing some great work with PE. And our lucky last presenter for tonight, Molly, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Molly Schroeder, and I am a digital learning specialist at a school district just outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I am also the director of summits for the EdTech team, where we put on Google and education summits kind of all over the world.
Beautiful, thank you, Molly. And I had the privilege of meeting you earlier in the year, which was fantastic, at the Melbourne Summit. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to kick off the show, but before we do that, I just want to remind everyone when voting. So I've just put up the link to vote. It's the same one that we normally have. It's bit.ly/TTP E6vote. So make sure that you vote for your favorite presenter. I know that the voting is extremely close each month, so every vote does count. So please make sure you vote for your favorite presenter, and we'll tweet that out and I'll show it again at the end of the show. So let's get started with tonight's show. Anthony, would you like to introduce our first presenter?
Love to. So first up we have Jenny Luca, and she's going to be showing us about PechaKucha. Is it, Jenny? I hope I've pronounced that correctly.
You have. You've done very well. And I'm going to start sharing my screen now. And I'm praying that I'm going to be able to do this in 4 minutes. Never very good at keeping to time in any kind of scenario. So I've got my screen on, is that right?
Yeah,
Everyone
perfect.
can see it? Right,
And just let me know when you would like me to start the timer.
Okay, cool. So everybody can see what I'm doing. Is this presentation showing?
Yep, perfect.
Yep.
Okay, all right, you can start your timer now.
Go.
Okay, all right, so this is about PechaKucha in the Year 9 classroom, something that I did this year at the start of the year. So PechaKucha, it's 20 by 20. It's a simple presentation format. You show 20 images, each for 20 seconds, and the images advance automatically, and you talk along to the images. That's the basic premise of it. Why did we do it? To avoid this, death by PowerPoint. At the start of the year, I got my kids to do some presentations, and they were absolutely shocking. Boring, bullet points, couldn't stand them, told them they needed some work. So we set about learning. We had a look at the PechaKucha site. I took them to this site, and we started to explore some PechaKucha ideas. And what we got the girls to do, I teach all girls in the senior school, is to select good presentations and pick their favourite and show them to everybody else. So we got some good exemplars from this site. We also got fabulous advice from Gar Reynolds, and in fact Gar Reynolds Skyped into our classroom, which was absolutely cool. Gar is a fantastic guy. He's a presentation guru. If you've never looked at his work, you must look at his work. It's fantastic. So Gar gave us lots of great advice about techniques for presentations, how to make your slides look fantastic, and how to present well with humour, etc. So what I did was, we've got 20 by 20 slides, which gives you a 6-minute, 40-second talk. It's actually quite difficult to do for a Year 9 student. The slides automatically advance. You have to get your timing right. That's hard for an adult to do, let alone a Year 9 kid. So I used a Google Doc to get some feedback about it and asked the kids whether or not it was achievable. And a lot of them thought that it was actually going to be quite difficult to do. So we, after getting all the feedback, we were given options. They could do the 20 slides by 20 seconds a slide, or they could do 10 slides at 20 seconds a slide. Not true PechaKucha, but far more achievable for a Year 9 student. They could choose their own topic, something that they could speak about with authority, and that was pretty important for them, that they needed to be confident with the material. They used Google Docs to write their script, then design their slides using Google Slides, but we hit a really big stumbling point, and that was that in Google Slides, you can't advance in the automatically advanced presentation timing 20 seconds. Yeah, no 20-second option. Hasn't Google heard of PechaKucha? Apparently they haven't. So that was a real letdown actually. But what we did was we created the slides using Google Slides, then we downloaded them to PowerPoint because the 20-second advanced slide option was there. I have seen a couple of workarounds that you could do using Google Slides, but I wish Google would just do something about that and put a 20-second slide option in there. The quality of their presentations, amazing. Blew me away with the girls, with what they've done with their image selections. And here is an example of one of the students' PechaKuchas that she's allowed me to share. This is Olympia's work. And you can see the clarity of those slides. You can see the great selection of images.
1 minute.
Oh my God, 1 minute. Cool, better get moving. Brilliant though, brilliant. Feedback from the kids, enjoyed it, learning more about effective presenting. Favourite part of the year was PechaKucha, and this one I think was fantastic. I think it was really good, but maybe some more work because they've improved my presentations in other subjects. That particular student said she watches other kids present now and realises that her presentations are so much better. My advice, give it a go in your classroom, help the students see the benefits of effective presentation technique, and they'll love you for it. I did it.
You did, with 30 seconds to spare.
Very cool.
Well done. So does anyone have any questions for Jenny on PechaKucha? I hope I said it right. Yeah. Andy?
Jenny, mind? Oh, so go, Andy, go.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to actually just briefly give my experience with PechaKucha. It really is amazing. And we have at our school here in evenings 2 times a year, and we get parents in the community and teachers present, and the presentations are so powerful. Everybody's so different, and their stories come alive through PechaKucha. So I just wanted to add that in. Like, it really is an amazing presentation format.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that too, that my students were really proud of their work. They were proud of what they were able to achieve. They loved the task, and some of them, did things that they never had an opportunity to do in any other class, because they are rarely given the freedom to select their own topic and run with it. So it was just fantastic.
Yeah, I actually have to do a PechaKucha tomorrow. We've been doing it as kind of a staff building activity, and so I was nominated to go tomorrow. So I have to do it on just kind of telling your story, and I think that's what I've seen when people have done it, is it helps a presentation be less of a the bullet list and all the text, but more of a story, which is more engaging for everybody.
Definitely.
Anthony,
Jenny,
yeah, go for it, Anthony.
one of the obvious things that strikes me about that is the need for quality images, I guess, in that a picture can tell 1,000 words. I guess you found probably a good avenue for, would you say, for finding Creative Commons images or images with copyright-free, or kids creating their own artwork. How did you approach that?
Yeah, that's certainly a discussion that we had around finding copyright-free images. So I took them to the Creative Commons search site, told them to go there, search for images, even introduced them to stock images. I said if you want to buy an image, you can buy images that way. And again, yes, some students actually took photos and created their own images for it. So it was a great opportunity to have that discussion about ethical use of images. So it's great.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Jenny. I hadn't heard of it, so it's great to learn. And I always seem that after TeachTechPlay episodes, I get so much out of it that lots of little things I hadn't thought of or seen before. So thank you for sharing. Now, next up is Anthony, and he is going to be presenting on GeoGuessr, and looking forward to what he has to share. So, Anthony, let me know when you'd like me to start the timer.
Thanks, Eleni. I'm just sharing my screen. Can everyone see that? GeoGuessr.com in purple?
Yep, perfect.
Excellent. Okay, well, you can start the time now. So GeoGuessr is a game using Street View images, and what happens is it drops you in a random location around the world, and then you have to be challenged to work out where you are, and it's going to take you to 5 different locations around the world. Just note that in GeoGuessr.com there is no E in there, but it's online. I've been having a play around with it the last couple of years, and it's recently just had a bit of a refresh. When you go to the URL and you jump in, you say let's play, it'll take you to a map. It'll load up here on Google Street View some images here, and just like on Google Street View, you can move forwards, you can move backwards, you can have a look around, you can zoom into different things, and the aim here is to try and work out and see where we are. And fortunately, there is a car here, and cars are always handy for trying to work out different locations. One of the things I like to do is see if I can work out the make of the car. Which sometimes, might give an indication as to the country. It's a bit hard to tell what that is there, but, it is driving on the right-hand side of the road, so we'll just go for a stab and we'll say somewhere in the States. And I can zoom into this map here and place a pin where I think it might be and say make a guess. And it'll then tell me, okay, it was absolutely nowhere near there, and the actual point there, as you can see, was in Kazakhstan, not in the United States. So I got 10 points for there because I was 9,000 kilometers away from where I dropped the pin. So let's have a look at the next one. Hopefully we might do a bit better. So again, it does appear to be right-hand side of the road on this one. And sometimes you can get really lucky with this. You might be dropped into a place where it's really easy to work out. Other times, maybe not so easy. You might be in a really desolate place with no cars, no houses in sight. I can zoom in here and see if I can make out. No, too pixelated. I'm going to have a guess and say the States again. I'll go to the other side of the coast this time and see how we fared. Okay, there you go. So it wasn't too bad, except I was on the wrong side of the States, but still I got the country right, so I'll take that. Okay, and the next one here, this, like I said, it looks really remote, so almost looks jungle. So let's just see if we can, find a truck or something to help us out here. Got no idea. I'm going to have a stab and say maybe the Africa's somewhere. I'm just going to go for the middle. This could be really wrong. Okay, yeah, wrong continent again. So you're doing really well. By the way, I completely suck at this game, so but it is a lot of fun. Okay, so how much time we got left, Eleni?
A minute 24. Okay,
so let's see. We've got another place around here, right-hand side of the road. Some of these signs here do look European. Got an interesting sign here. was like Russian, Ukrainian, or something like that. I don't know. We'll put the pin in Europe and just see how we go. Make a guess. And gee, they're loving the Kazakhstan tonight, aren't they? There's one more round to go, and this one almost looks like
1 minute.
Thanks. Well, this one's been a really difficult round. Let's go with New Zealand and just see how we fare with that one. This could go really wrong as well. Yep, they all United Kingdom, so weren't even anywhere near there. So great job, scored 797 points. And you can share this out. You can play the same map again, or you can try another map. One of the other things you can do is even try maps in particular locations of the world. You might use this as part of a geography unit or humanities inquiry into something. You might use it to share your results with your class or your teachers and challenge each other. You can use GeoGuessr to create your own map. So I've just created one quickly here that has 5 different iconic locations around the capital cities of Australia, and then you can share that out with that URL, and then you can have your own GeoGuessr with that. So there are a couple of good uses for education, but time's up. But if anything, it's a good time waster, and as you can see, I'm not terribly crash hot at it.
Thank you for sharing that, Anthony. It is fantastic. I hadn't heard of another thing. That's 2 things tonight, and I had a little play the other day, and next thing I knew, it was 15 minutes down the track and I was still playing. So they're great also for breaking up lessons. Anything little and fun the kids absolutely love. So thank you for sharing that today. Did anyone have any questions about GeoGuessr?
Are there any kind of hints or clues that it gives you along the way, or is it just like you just get the street view and then you guess?
Yeah, pretty much just the street view. Unlike some of the other ones which we'll talk about before, like Smarty Pins. But to me, one of the great things about it is you drop off wherever you are and you're forced to look at architecture or, the scenery or the vegetation or just different clues that you can try and get from your scenery and make your best guess. And sometimes when you got a knowledge about something, you can make a really good guess otherwise. Other times, like you just saw, I was just wildly guessing around under time constraints.
Wonderful. Thanks, Anthony. Oh, Andy's got something.
Limit based. Do you have a time limit? So the
Can
longer
you repeat that, Andy?
I was asking him, is it time limit based? So the longer you spend on a picture, the less points you get, or is there a fixed time that you have?
Yeah, so there's no time limit that I'm aware of. You can have it as open as you like. The only difference with the points is just it depends on how far you are from that particular pin. So, if you wanted to, you can jump into a new tab and do a little bit of research about something in particular if you came across a word or a location if you wanted to. But, yeah, there's no point effect for time taken, I guess.
Right.
Perfect. Now, next up is myself. Now, I am going to be presenting today on AutoCrat. Now, I'll just share my screen. Now, I think what I'm trying to attempt is going to be an epic fail, but hopefully it works. Now, I have changed my name and got the bit.ly link. So, everyone who's viewing, if you would like to follow this bit.ly and you can fill it out, hopefully it will also be on our Twitter, etc., and I'll show it at the end as well. All right, so pretty much AutoCrat. So AutoCrat is a flexible, easy merging tool that's through Google Spreadsheets or Sheets as it's now called, and it's an add-on that you can add to documents. So ways that you can use it in the classroom are to send out certificates, to send out when students enter in events or something at sport. I know our PE teacher uses it a lot to send the students back so they don't actually go and ask him. I've seen it used 102 ways, but I'm going to fly through and just show you how it all works. So I created a 4-step process. So step 1 is to collect data using Google Forms, or you can simply use data in a spreadsheet already collected. Second step is to create a Google Doc with merged tags, and merged tags is what allows that the merging of everything into a PDF of the data. Then you need to add the AutoCrat add-on in Google Sheets and let the magic happen, and I'll take you through that step now. So here I have created, I know 2 episodes ago I went through Google Forms, so here I've created a simple Google form and my theme looks like this. So name, last name, email, favorite subject, favorite color. So once this has been filled out, what happens is the data goes straight into my spreadsheet here. But to get it to work, I firstly need to create a document. And in the document, so what it's going to do is all my data that goes in, it's going to transform onto this document. So the first thing I ask for is the first name. Now, as you can see, I have used merge tags. So they're just the little arrows that you see on my screen. So first name, and I'm rushing through this because I'm really worried about time. Last name, and then favorite, subject, and favorite, color, and I am in Australia, so we have a U in there as well. So once I have done that, I go back to my spreadsheet, and in here I go to add-ons. Now I've already added AutoCrat, but you can find this just by clicking Get Add-ons. So when I hit Launch, if it's going to work, yes. Now the internet may let me down. I'm going to click on New Merged Job. Okay, I've got a minute 30, so this probably isn't going to work. Come on. I think this is going to be an epic fail. So once I'm in there, I can select from my drive or create a document. I've already got my example here. So it's loading my template. And what it does is it merges it. So example TTP. I know it's not spelled right. So here I have to name my file. So I'm going to use the first name, and you copy this and paste it into the document. And then I'm going to, so I want it to create a PDF, so I don't want people to be able to edit it. I'm going to get people to email it straight away. So in this part, I will copy their email that I've collected from the form. So I'll paste that there, and the subject I'm going to put first name and TTP. Then as I go down, I'm going to hit Save Settings. Then it pretty much merges everything. So when my document is filled out, let me check the time. Oh, I've got 26 seconds. So over here, I have actually created one for everyone with that link. So this is what the one I've created for everyone, saying a nice Merry Christmas, Happy New Year little thing. So I've put the first name, last name, thank you for your support and look forward to seeing you next year. So now if I quickly had everything open and then my computer crashed. So see, I've got 33 seconds. If I click here, I've actually got it straight to my email, a little certificate PDF where it has merged my data, and I've got a certificate. So AutoCrat just helps with all of that. Now, I don't even know if that made sense because I flew through that. But that was the quickest I think I've ever done AutoCrat. But pretty much it just merges everything and can create a bit of fun and certificates, etc. Does anyone have any questions? Because I think it all came out so fast then.
Well,
No,
I just think it was great having a go at that in 4 minutes. Well done.
Yeah, it worked just.
I was just going to say that in PE and swimming, it's an amazing tool. And, you know, we're in China here, so we're blocked. Like, we can't access Google without a virtual private network. So we can't use any of those tools, unfortunately. But it is a great tool.
I have a lot of teachers and links to learn more, and then they merge it and they send it to the parents, and it's like this personalized, almost, you know, not a report card, but more feedback for the parents and the students, and they are so impressed by it.
I've used it a bit for portfolios, for student reflections, so it just makes it a bit more fun. The kids think they're simply filling out a Google form, but then it creates a whole document. So I hope everyone likes a little certificate you got. So thank you for your support of TeachTechPlay this year. I thought it would be a good little way to end the year and give something to all our viewers, because I know sometimes it's hard to reach out to you guys. But enough of me. Next up, did anyone else have any questions? Nope. All right. Next up is Andy. So Andy from China. So you're next.
I'm just going to share right now.
Let me know when you'd like me to start the timer.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see this? Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, hang on. Okay. Can you see it now?
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you can start it.
Go.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to present my Teacher Talk Time challenge this evening to you. But I need to give you a little bit of backstory before going into the challenge itself. So for the last couple of years, I've been an active member of a phys ed network online on Twitter, actually. And there are loads of teachers, physical educators from around the world that are sharing good teaching practice on a regular basis in our network. So everybody collaborates and is constantly communicating about things that they're doing, you know, innovative things that they're doing in PE. Along with actual teachers from elementary schools and secondary schools, there's also a number of university lecturers. And this is one of the most powerful parts of our network, because these researchers bring with them the most current evidence-based research. And what they've done is they're trying to bridge the gap between practice and research. So the one lecturer that I want to talk about is Dr. Ashley Casey. He's from the University of Loughborough in the UK. And he's got an amazing blog, and what he does every week is he summarizes a major research paper in physical education. And the one paper that he presented about 18 months ago was, the focus of this paper was the actual contact time that we have with our students, in particular in single subjects. So when we look at PE, we've got students coming and going, changing at the beginning of class, changing when they leave class. As well, we lose time to field trips and school productions. So this paper that he summarized really broke down the numbers, and it was shocking how little time we have with our students, which means that we need to maximize our time with our students. Now, this is just not only about PE, but about all of the subjects, classroom teachers, all teachers in general. So one of the things that the research has brought out, and the common findings, are that teachers talk too much. You know, it's just something that, and this is not a hack on teachers. You know, we all make these mistakes over and over, but the idea of repeating instructions over and over, getting sidetracked, teachers unsure of exactly what they want to talk about in group discussions. So, you know, teachers find themselves clarifying what it is they actually want to say. As well, sometimes there's just too much information that they're trying to present at one time instead of chunking it down into manageable parts. The idea of giving feedback is amazing, but sometimes when we give whole class feedback, it only pertains to a few. So what I decided to do was to begin using a stopwatch to time my own teacher talk time. And at first I was shocked, because it's so true. We can go on and on and on. And this is the precious learning time of our students. So I made it a goal to improve on the length of time that I talk. So just the act of using a stopwatch itself puts so much pressure on you to be succinct with what you want to say. So I blogged about it back in February, but what I do is I post driving questions in a unit and big ideas, and this has helped me to kind of narrow the focus for my discussions. So I have all these visuals up on the wall in the gym, and I use these visuals to help stimulate discussion that's very focused, and it's helped me keep my teacher talk time down. The one thing I do is visit schools and I consult for PE programs, and I always time the teachers, and on average they talk between 40 and 60% of the time, and when I tell them that, they're shocked. So they actually are implementing some of these strategies using a stopwatch, and it's great for your practice, and it's maximizing time with your students. So I challenge all of you teachers out there to try this sometime, and hopefully it'll work for you.
Perfect timing. The buzzer's just about to go off. There you go.
Okay, I'm just going to get out of this. I want to make sure that, okay.
And thanks, Andy. That was great. I think part of being an educator today is about reflecting on your current practice. And a lot of teachers do talk too much, and I sometimes think I may talk too much as well. But I think it's important that we always admit to these things so we realize and can start to make a difference. Did anyone else have anything to say?
I just think it's a great idea because, I mean, you know, when you're a PE teacher, you've got a stopwatch. You've always got one. But quite honestly, I could just take my phone to class and use the stopwatch feature on my phone and do exactly the same thing. And I know I talk too much in class, so I think it would be great for me to do that myself and try and get less teacher talk happening and more engagement in activities and perhaps more student talk happening. So thanks for that. That's a really good prompt for me to do something about that.
I also like the just the simple mind mapping with all the colours, and I'm a very visual learner, so that's something I think I should do when breaking out my lessons to get the key ideas. So thank you for sharing. Now next up we've got Molly. Now Molly, how are you feeling there?
I'm doing great. I'm so awake.
Did you want to share what the time was there, or no?
It's about 3:30, and yep, it's early, but it's good. I'm excited. I'm surprisingly awake and learning a lot, so it's fun.
Beautiful. That's the whole aim of the show, to continue learning and seeing what others are doing. So let me know when you're ready, and I will start the timer.
All right, so my screen is shared. Great, you can start. So one of the things that I was going to share is a little bit about the Google My Maps. And one of the challenges that I've given to my teachers right now is talking about collaboration, and not just with the people that are inside your class, but seeing if we could ask some questions that relate to people outside of even our classroom walls, and even just collaborating with the world. So this is an example of a Google form that one of our second grade classes put together, and they just put together a form that says, hey, what country do you live in and what's the temperature? And then what type of weather do you have today? And they were so fascinated with all the different people from all over the world once they put it on their social media that were filling it out. And they thought it was so much fun to have some real life data. So I recently came across this first grade class that is in Wisconsin, and they posted that they wanted to, for the month of November, collect moonshots. And you know, if you're in our world, we talk a little bit about moonshots a little differently, but I just thought this was really fun. And unfortunately, on Google Forms, you can't collect images yet. You can't upload images there. So they put their Twitter hashtag, and they put an email address for people to take pictures of moons and then send them in. So one of the more recent ones that they found, or that they got, was from a moon in Singapore. And so what I did is I just put all that data into a spreadsheet. And so I put the name, the location of where the moon was taken, the moonshot was taken, the date, the time, and then what season it was. Because for first graders, this would be a cool kind of eye-opener for them. So one of the things that you can do next is you can go into My Maps, and if you have the data that you want to put on a map in a spreadsheet, you can import the data into My Maps. So over on the left-hand side, we have a little Import tab, and we can search in our Google Drive for that spreadsheet. The one important thing in your spreadsheet is that you can't have any punctuation in the first row, otherwise it's not going to import well into My Map. So I'm just going to get my spreadsheet from Google Drive and search for it here, and here is the spreadsheet. And the first question it's going to ask is where it wants to put the pin placements on my map. And so I'll say the location, and the next one is going to say what should we name each of the place marks. So in just a couple clicks, you can have an entire set of data from a spreadsheet populate into My Maps, and the students could see all the different places that they were able to collect moonshots from. And so if we take a look at that one from Singapore too, now that we have all these pin placements, we can go in and edit the pin placements. And unfortunately, you can't upload a picture yet, but if the picture is on Blogger, I can just copy the image URL, head back to the map, insert an image, and as long as I have the URL for the image, I could then select each of the URLs and then place them in there. So now I could place the actual picture, the moonshots, into the map. But one of the biggest learnings, I think, for the little kids would be the fact that there are different seasons happening at the same point in time. So I can style each of my place marks over here based on a question that I asked in the form, so which season it was. And so now it's going to color code, and you can even change the colors of each of these to be what you would want. So now the students would have a pretty clear example of, you know, even realizing the equator sort of separates our seasons that we have. And then you could click on each of the place points to see the different date, the time, and the pictures of the moon. So collecting moonshots and then using the map as your textbook, because I think we can really connect the map and any kind of geolocation data to really anything that we're studying.
Beautiful, and you have 6 seconds to spare. So well done, Molly. And I think I love My Maps. I nearly said Maps Engine Lite there because that's what it was formerly known as. But I think it's great how you can use data in so many different ways. And I used to hate spreadsheets, absolutely hate them. And the more and more cool little things I find, the more and more I start to love them. So it's great. And Google makes it so easy with all the connections. Did anyone else have any questions or comments?
Are you going to go back to sleep now?
I believe I will.
3:30. That's right.
It is quite late. Now, that actually brings us to the end of the show. So I'd like to thank all our presenters for coming on board and joining us for our last episode of the year. Now, if you didn't quite get the link to my presentation and would like a certificate to say a huge thank you for being part of our show, the link is at the bottom under my name on the screen currently. So it's just bit.ly/TTP, all capitals, and then lowercase AutoCrat, and you can get that as you please. The other thing that I'd like to just share with everyone is the voting slide. So please make sure that you vote for your favorite presenter. Every vote does count, and I know that we would love to know who our final play king or queen is for the end of 2014. Now, in regards to voting, it does close on Friday, so you have till 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now, as we are going to holidays in Australia soon for summer, we have a long summer break, and we actually don't go back to school till after Australia Day, which is the 26th of January. So we are not going to be airing a January show for TeachTechPlay. Michael is also expecting his firstborn baby, so we've actually postponed it till February. So we're having a little break, but we look forward to seeing you all for episode 7 on Monday the 2nd of February, and the time obviously is 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I hope that everyone watching is enjoying our shows. Would love some feedback. If you think you've got something that you'd love to share, please get in contact with us, as we'd love to see what other fantastic educators are doing from around the world. So I'll just shoot over to the presenters. Would you guys like to say a quick wave goodbye, and that will be the end of the show.
See you later.
Very much.
See you, everyone.